Welcome back to the channel, folks. MoneyStream, aka moneystream.com.au. We're coming at you from FRESH MEDIQ here in Jomtien, which is on Jomtien Second Road. So I'm going to give you a quick insight, turn the camera, introduce you to Ian. Ian runs the show here, and we're going to talk about Thailand's weed, and specifically for medicinal purposes. We're been invited here by Ian. I turn the camera around. Good morning, Ian.
Good morning.
And thanks for your
Hi.
time.
Thank you very much. Hello, Pattaya in Thailand, I guess. How about that? Yeah, my name is Ian Pascan. I'm the owner-operator here at FRESH MEDIQ. Yeah, we've been here in this location about 3 years. We used to practice on Sukhumvit around Pattaya Klang, around central Pattaya area. And after COVID, we moved here to Jomtien. We noticed a lot of our patients and a lot of the retired people that live here, they're in this area, they're around Pratamnak, they're around Jomtien, so we've made a home here also. So yeah, welcome. I think today we're talking about medical cannabis. This is something we've been involved in since 2018 now. It's been about 6 years. Back then when Thailand was investigating and looking into bringing medical cannabis around, they were always searching for doctors or someone to jump on board. Because primarily it was used by the Thai traditional medicine doctors. And see, there's two types of medical groups here in Thailand. You have the traditional medicine doctors who may work in the jungle. They may not necessarily go through certain accreditation or modern medical schools. Then you have these MD, modern medicine type doctors that we may all be familiar with today. So back then they were really reaching out for someone to join, collect research, and help progress this sector of medicine and healthcare here in Thailand. So we threw our names in the hat. I believe back then we were the only private clinic that accepted foreign patients. The other 3 hospitals were government hospitals that treated like pediatric epilepsy, like with children. The others was like cancer hospitals, kind of spaced out throughout the rural parts of Thailand. But here in Pattaya, a lot of the expat community, a lot of the foreign community, see, we're familiar with cannabis. We may have heard of CBD, THC before. So whenever it was open in those days, a lot of people searched it out. And so we were able to collect the most data in the pilot program. I think there was around 300 patients in the first 6 months. It's actually quite a lot. I think the next hospitals were in the teens or in the, maybe a couple dozen patients. So we were able to submit a lot of data. Obviously this data is from Caucasian or Western men age 50 and up, treating things like chronic pain, sleep disorders, PTSD. There's a lot of soldiers, a lot of retired soldiers in this community too, that we've known and that we still take care of here throughout all the years. So yeah, there's a lot of mental disorders we were familiar with. And we've been doing this ever since. I think nowadays the laws have changed much differently. You don't necessarily have to answer these questionnaires or you have to submit all this information. People are just buying over the counter these days with how the laws are. Even though they may talk about changing this back, who knows how this goes. I will say one thing is a lot of the medicine has changed throughout the years. I think the first medicines were like Thai traditional based medicines where cannabis was one ingredient. Sometimes people have this misconception that Thai traditional cannabis was like the stems or the leaves or the roots, but really, there's really modern medicine that they're making here in Thailand that we're still using today. Some of it's even on my shelf here. But a lot of that was capsules, tinctures you drop under the tongue. We used to have suppositories for bowel cancer. Yeah, all different types of medicine. But nowadays, I think the ones that we use the most and that we prescribe the most are concentrated oils, like isolated oils. We now have also full spectrum type oils, edibles, cannabis flowers. Now there's a lot more variety. See, back in the day, there maybe didn't used to be as much variety. We were picking and choosing between 2 or 3 different types of oils. Now there's different ways of consumption, different methods of administration, and different concentrations of medicine. So there's really a wide variety. Maybe we should walk through some of that. I think that's where it's changed. Let's see. Let's talk about these 3 oils. I think these were really the just the foundation of what medical cannabis used to be. These are medical cannabis oils made by the GPO, the Government Pharmaceutical Organization. But what they make is they make a CBD oil. That's like CBD only inside of an oil like this. This is a THC oil, only THC Delta 9 in an oil like this. And then this is a mix, 1-to-1 ratio THC, CBD mixed together. Now these are considered isolated oils, which just means that there's only THC and CBD inside. There's no other cannabinoids, there's no other plant materials. Because as we know, the cannabis plant has over 100 different cannabinoids, CBC, CBN, CBG, it just goes on and on, right? And not a lot of this has a lot of research behind it. I think CBD and THC may be the most that we've ever researched, and something that we use to treat different health conditions. But normally we're using these medicines because they're easier to control. We're worried about 1 or 2 different cannabinoids. So if patients are juggling multiple types of medications, maybe they have some heart disease or diabetes, or if they have multiple types of medication, usually we're going to this group of medicine because they're easier to control. And the formulations are the same when you're dealing with isolates. So you do a bottle today, in 6 months, in 1 year, they're the same. So I believe for the last 5-6 years, these formulations have been reliable, they've been dependable. They're something that patients can get off of their other chemical-based pharmaceutical medications and take this instead as an herbal medication. And it's something that's in stock and it's reliable. I think some of the biggest problems with the cannabis medicines are, let's say, all these different products. For example, flour. Okay, flour is a good example, right? I have about 6 different strains of these flowers. But these may alter and these may change every harvest. This crop may smell a certain way, it may feel a certain way. They may harvest this in another 9 months, it may be a little different, or it may test differently. So see, there's going to be some fluctuations like this when you talk about cannabis flower or full spectrum. This word full spectrum just means everything from the cannabis plant or everything from the cannabis flower inside, not isolated like this. So see, this one just may be a little unpredictable. So if you are juggling different ailments or different medications, something like this may be hard to control. However, there are other people who don't have, this laundry list full of medications, and they don't have a bunch of health problems, and they may be using cannabis for the first time. I think some of this, it may be appropriate, and it may adjust, through the seasons, or it may adjust through the harvest, but that's okay. They may adjust with it, increase the dosage, decrease the dosage, or just change the strain altogether. And really, I'd say this probably what leads into this other line of oils. These oils here are considered full spectrum. So that's what's a little different is, we talked about isolated oils. These are full spectrum cannabis oils, which just means it has, these may contain over 100 different types of cannabinoids. It also has things like plant material, things like chlorophyll, that may not be associated with cannabis, just with plants only. But the dominating cannabinoid, the dominating active ingredient would once again be a THC, a CBD, and a mixed at a 1-to-1 ratio. So yeah, I think patients now, they have an option. They have many different options to choose from. A lot of times they're just trying maybe a 10 ml to see if it works, and then if it does, I see a lot of people using 30 mLs. These bottles may last you more than months. 1 month, 2 months. Most people are using 2 or 3 drops per time. It's really all it takes. And so yeah, I think we have a little bit of cannabis for everybody. There's things like edibles here nowadays, obviously flowers, and yeah, tinctures. So yeah, that's kind of how things have evolved. And yeah, the stock and the availability now in Thailand, it's readily available. So like I said, people are always welcome to come in and just purchase over the counter, but as things may change and adapt, we're happy to adapt with them. And if they need proper guidance by a real medical professional, we have those, and we can always, point people in the right direction too.
Ian, thanks so much for your time. Very, very informative.
Well, thank you.
I think I'm in one of those categories. I'm the one with the shopping trolley full of, and I remember the forms you're talking about probably going back 5-6 years. I filled out a form, but then they told me by the time you fill it out and other forms, God knows if they'll even approve it. So I know what you're talking about. But thanks Ian for your time at Fresh Mediq here in Jomtien. So if anyone's interested in trying medicinal oils and so forth, what Ian's described, pop in and see him. I'll put all the links in the description. And Ian, thanks again for your valuable time, very informative information. And guys, I'm going to be trying something here medicinally, so stay tuned and we'll see how it works, because as I've been blurbing for so long on this YouTube channel, I suffer from fibromyalgia and so on and so on. So yeah, I'll be giving you the rundown on how it's going, but we'll see you on the next vlog. Cheers.